Okay, this is a 1979 Ford F-150. This is one strong pickup. I believe someone's done some motor work to it at one time. I don't believe these came with the dual exhaust, but this truck is solid. You won't find any rust in the holes of the floors. They're solid all the way down. Here in Idaho, we're considered desert. Well, Boise, because we don't salt the roads here, so most stuff you pull out of Boise is solid, unless it's from another place like Wisconsin. But a lot of people will hunt here for that reason, because our stuff is so dang solid. But this truck was restored years ago, so don't expect perfect. It's got dings and dents and all the fun stuff. It's got a 600 watt amp that runs, and these seats are awesome. I've had guys trying to get these off me. But if you want the original bench, I've got that too. I'll change it out. But this one slides back and forth. It's got all the latches underneath, and then is what's cool about it is this comes up and it's got a there's your 600 watt amp right there, and then you can hide it. And then the cool thing is, hold on, if you want to have a place to ride your drinks, there you go. So it comes in handy for both. And then you've got your cigarette lighter still works. I've got it out because I've got a digital gauge in place of the one that's not working. But every once in a while it'll jump around, but it needs new cables, what I'm thinking. But just a solid old truck. Like I say, if you're not looking for, you got this little dash cap, but if you're looking for like a mint $100,000 show truck, this ain't it. This is just your driver. So if you're into these old Fords, I can't see why you wouldn't like this one. But just a solid old truck. I got a lot of character. I want to name it Black Stallion, but it's even got the original tank right there. I believe that came with it, and I believe that's the original engine paint. That's why I think this is a low miles truck. But I've got receipts. It's just had probably $2 or $3 grand worth of work put into it to make sure it was up and running right. I'll take a picture of those, so make sure you look at them. But just a solid old truck. It rained here, so I tried to wipe it all down. You'll see little bits of rain pieces here and there, but for some reason we get rain the day that I'm gonna do a photo shoot. But like I say, these seats, they're awesome. They definitely do more than the original bench does. And then you've got these little sliders where you can go back and forth. You can see that, but just makes it easier to drive. But you got all your headliners all there. It's got pretty much everything. And like I say, it's not perfect. You'll find dents and dings and scrapes and paint and fade and you name it, but it's a nice looking truck. It's a good driver. But I think personally it's one of the nicer Fords you're gonna find. Windshield, no cracks, nothing like that. We'll go ahead and fire her up. And I might have another video, so make sure to watch it. Oh, even your e-brake works on it still. Sits right there. Pump it, cold start. And you can see the gauges have all been relocated down there, so sure we're not in gear. That's how good this thing runs. It just fires right up. And then here's your gauges. As you can see, it's completely cold right now. So you pump it a couple times, give it some gas, so that's all you got to do with this one. But just good driving truck. It's a good driver. That's what I call these. And if you wanted to take it and make it a show truck, that's all up to you. But I see these guys going through these things and just crazy amounts of work they put into these trucks. You got your glove box, and someone's already done a couple add-ons to this truck. Like I say, the amp underneath that seat and the little tacks right there. I mean, it was loved before it got into my hands, so I'm just here to keep the love going on it. But it was definitely a love truck that someone was making their own, you know. But make sure to go through all my pictures. And it's got this little step up. This is actually sitting on a 4-inch lift. So these are 35-inch tires. And like I say, a 4-inch lift, and it's a pretty good ride for being a 4-inch lift. But I think a lift always makes these trucks look better, you know. But anyway, make sure to go through all the pictures too. And having that step, that's a nice little add-on too. And then for your speedometer, you just hit that button right there and it'll power on. And as far as, you got a little button right here if you want to find out if you want to go in miles per hour or however you want to do it. You got your heater, and sometimes it might do a little squeal at first. I think that's pretty common on these trucks. But you got your defrost, that works. And then your fuel tanks, those both work, front and back. Reverse sits all the way over there. And you got your e-brake down here. Oh yeah, and the plus side of it, you got your windshield wipers all work. But it's a little bit hazy here, so bear with me. And this is a 4-speed, so on these older ones you're better off. You don't have to, but you start out in second. And your stereo, it sounds pretty good. But I'll probably have 2 videos, I'm thinking. Traffic got a little bit heavy here. It's probably because it rained. But as you can see, it's starting to get up to temperature. We'll show you this while we're waiting. Sounds pretty good. For 600 watts, don't sound bad at all. Those 10-inch subs really put out some good noise. But it's a beast. It's a nice, cool truck. It's a good driver. There's your third right there, and it's got so much torque in these 400 engines that it's like you just you can coast in fourth gear going low speed. That's the kind of torque it's got. And that's third right there, so. And your blinkers all work. So there's your left blinker. After you make your corners, they shut off. Ooh, it's cold out this morning. I'll actually turn this down. Stereo's a little bit old and outdated, but it plays the stations. That's all I need. But just a fun little show-off truck. You'll get guys all the time telling you it's a cool truck. And then here's your fourth. And on these old trucks, if you're not used to driving older trucks, it might take you a minute just to kind of get used to the way these synchros line up. They're not as easy as new trucks, so driving these old trucks, it's almost like if you weren't raised with them. I was, so I understand. You got to drive these. They don't drive by themselves, but on these old trucks, they're just a little bit different to learn. But once you got it, you got it. But this one, definitely a solid old ride, and almost everything on it still works pretty good for being as old as it is. Your brakes, they're just right there. And like I say, brakes, everything is 50 years old, so technology back then isn't what it is today. I'll put it like that. But as you can see, I'm coming up to this kind of fast. I mean, if you really put them down, and that's barely pressing it. I mean, they work really good. And like I say, I start out in second. And maybe some people do start out in first. But growing up, we always called the first gear the stump puller. And this truck actually has got some juice. I feel like someone's done some motor work to it at one time. Because I've had lots of these older Fords. And these trucks, I mean, they go, but this one goes especially good. But there's guys that they do all kinds of work to these motors. I've never been into that side of things. I don't know a whole lot about internal. But I almost guarantee someone's put more power in this. And then I don't believe these came with 4-barrel carbs, and this one's got one on it. But I've got some receipts. Make sure to look at the pictures. And someone definitely loved this truck. It's had some money put into it. But yeah, you'll get all kinds of guys looking over at you driving this old truck. You don't see them out very often. And it sounds healthy. With that dual exhaust added, yeah, I had to pick a time like this. Everyone's getting ready to go to work. So the right blinker, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. It works, but on the inside it goes, sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. So left one, I think it's probably just a light inside there needs replaced. But I'm pretty much driving this with one hand right now, so she's pretty easy to drive once you get used to it. Here's your fourth. But a solid driver. There's your horn. Forgot to show you that. And the heater, it's getting it nice and toasty. As you can see, the fog is coming off the windows. But anyway, I'm over at Classy Autos here in Boise, Idaho. So if you have any questions, let me know. And if there's anything that I missed, and like I say, I've showed your e-brake right here while I do the pictures. But solid old driving truck. And the best part, you don't got to worry about rust and all that stuff. Like I say, Idaho, you don't got to worry too much about it. And this truck, I've had it parked for weeks at a time and not one leak has came out of it. I'm not saying that it's 100% leak free, but there's not any kind of leaks that you got to worry about at the moment. They're all pretty dang good. But anyway, I'll just have this one video, so make sure to go through all my pictures. All right, you have a good day.